What happened? Do I need to come up?
Wait, don't go. My knee is where are you?
What, are you stuck? Are you stuck?
Being out in the mountains is just very surreal. There's no other feeling in the world that can match it.
You don't control anything in the mountains.
I'm lucky because I get to share the backcountry with someone that I love deeply.
I've been skiing ever since I could remember, ever since I could walk. I've only been backcountry skiing since I was about 13, but I've been on skis my whole life. I am just so appreciative that I get to do this and that I get to share these experiences with such wonderful partners and people that I love so much and hold so close to my heart. And I can't picture doing it with anybody else behind the camera. There are a lot of emotions that I attach to backcountry skiing, a lot of happiness, joy, but sometimes there's fear.
Forecasters once again warning those going into the backcountry.
Yeah, they say depending on the storm conditions, could actually go from high to extreme by tomorrow.
That avalanche danger to high in the Wasatch
Front.
Mountain
Yeah, we had 10 slides at least reported across the state just yesterday.
Every expedition I've had, every journey out, whether it be long days or short days, has been impacted by avalanche conditions. It's a lot different here and it's a lot more serious here.
Hey! Avalanche, avalanche, avalanche.
I just remember making my first couple turns and the snow just gave out. Yeah.
Cotton carried, maybe 20 feet. I'm out of it now. I would take the line to the left side.
I had never been caught in an avalanche and it felt like everything underneath me had just been pulled out.
Yeah, it's a little less steep. I mean, you could come through here. It did just avalanche.
It happens to you and you realize, makes you think what is worth the risk, and, was that line really worth it, or was that line just a stupid decision there? You let greed get the better of you, and I think that's a really common thing in the mountains.
The mountain affects so many parts of how you plan where you're gonna go. For example, our whole experience in the La Salles was not planned at all.
The snow still seems really reactive, so just trying to be as careful as we can and choose our terrain the best we can. We may have to go out to Moab, depending on if the storm comes through and puts down some weak layers. So we may have to go to Moab to ski, just because the Wasatch Range is looking a little hairy at the time. So when we were gonna go out, we were planning on skiing some lines around the Wasatch, and that just was not gonna come together, unfortunately. And that's okay. I mean, sometimes you have to kind of switch up plans and change what you're gonna do. But we were planning on skiing here, and we had just gotten too much snow on a weak layer, and it just wasn't looking safe, and we weren't gonna be able to ski those steeper lines without very likely slides, and put ourselves in a lot of danger, which is just not worth the risk.
You can plan all you want, but the mountain is gonna do what it's gonna do. No matter how set in stone your plan is, it's just not.
We're headed to the La Salle mountain range, like 4 hours southeast of here, near Moab, just because they have a much more consistent snowpack there. So I don't know, you just have to keep your mind open when you're out in the mountains and know that they're a lot more powerful than you are, and you have to respect that. And so we're kind of just doing that and packing our stuff and getting ready in the dorm and getting prepared to head out there for the next few days. I just remember pulling in and seeing the red rocks and seeing the arches and those massive snow-capped mountains in the distance.
Felt like I was on Mars. I don't know how to describe it any other way.
Your vision of the mountains would get blocked out by trees, and then you'd come around the next curve and it would come back into vision. It was just so cool, and the anticipation and the antsiness I felt to get out in the mountains was insane. You're just sitting underneath these peaks that are standing at 12,000 plus feet.
Nothing was stable. The mountain included.
This mountain was, I don't know, 12,300 feet, 12,400 feet, and we had a long way to go.
We were experiencing some very questionable snow conditions. We were sliding, and both Jake and I were talking back and forth on what we need to do, which ridge we need to ascend. Plans were changing back and forth.
How do you feel?
Felt better.
That's fair.
What? Just pushing and get on the ridge line and we'll see. The spar's really frozen and chewy.
You know, you kind of let your guards down once you get close and you're tired and you're about to finish, and I pushed on. I remember turning around and she wasn't there.
I had lost Jake at this point.
Maddie, where are you? Where are you?
We got separated.
You alright? Where are you?
My knee dislocated.
And my knee dislocated.
My knee hurts really bad.
What happened? Do I need to come up?
I got on the radio.
Wait, don't go.
Are you okay?
She was
What, are you stuck?
hyperventilating. She couldn't control herself.
Are you stuck?
And I just knew how much pain she was in.
Come on. I got it.
And I just remember telling myself after I got off the radio, you need to get it together. You need to like breathe and gather yourself.
I was so nervous. I mean, when it's somebody you love, but also somebody that you're just in the mountains with and you feel a sense of responsibility, a sense of trust, you know, you get nervous that something may happen to them.
Then I see Jake coming over the ridge, and a huge weight just feels like it's lifted from my body because I realize everything's gonna be okay. He stabilized my knee, and we got everything ready so that we could keep pushing up to the summit because that was what we came out here to do.
Figuring it out together and overcoming a challenge as a group can be the best way to do it, and the safest way too. I think the partnership is a really key aspect. We hunkered down and we're just stripping our skins off and transitioning as fast as we could because we knew that, you know, any second the winds could get stronger.
Gain this sense of respect, but also the sense of deeper connection because you're out there testing your limits and their limits. It's their raw self, and I think that's really important.
Copy now.
Sounds good. See you in a little.
You know, I don't know if this makes sense to a lot of other people, but skiing is family. You know, whether that be the family that, like my dad, that I grew up skiing with, or the family that you form in relationships, or even just like the feeling of family being out in the mountains. It doesn't have to be with a individual person, but with the mountains themselves and being outside in the wilderness, you know.
That feeling up there is just so incredible because you accomplished something that even you thought that you might not be able to do. And I think that's what the journey really brings you.
Do you still like Jake after traveling in the backcountry with him?
Do I still like Jake? Of course I like Jake still. He's my favorite. Yeah.
Oh yeah? Is that good? Okay.